You change your mind like the weather. You promise sunshine, but it looks like rain. I simply know would be better, but you just keep me hanging on again. Hanging on a heartbeat. This ain't no question, you know. Hanging on a heartbeat. Come on, girl. Move way too slow. Hanging on a heartbeat. The hot seat. You gotta give it up and let it go. Cause the life's still short. You're hanging on a heartbeat. I lay my cards on the table. Let you goddesses hidden up your sleeve. I'm ready, willing, and able. Oh, but I'm a joker when it's time to leave. How many nights have I wasted? How many dreams have I lost in vain? Oh, when I like the rhythm I've tasted, don't leave me hanging on the heartbeat. Hanging on the heartbeat. My heart is lying here naked. All that I ask is you believe in me. We've got the power to make it. Oh, we'll say goodnight or we can let it be. Hanging on a heartbeat. Can't you see how hard I have tried? Hanging on a heartbeat. Can't you see the fire in my eyes? Hanging on a heartbeat. So I see. Better pick it up and leave it behind. Can't waste time when you're hanging on a heartbeat. Only Moses met the Pharaoh. Yeah, tried to set him straight. Looking in the eye, let my people go. Only Moses on the mountain.
A rape. It's corn. It's like corn, and then they heat things onto it. Like they'll put cheese and melt it on. And most people, they make these from scratch. And then they put this flavor on it. And then I can't pick it up. This is hot chocolate. I'm doing that. In honor of Jordan Steele, I got some Fruit Loops here. This is their version of Fruit Loops, and they're frosted tips, so they're smaller. They're like, I don't know if they come in a bag, these Fruit Loops, but they are. I mean, they're definitely fruity. Hey Monica, hey Taylor. I mean, thanks for the comments. I literally took all day to upload the 2 videos that went live, so I don't know. I have to re-edit this James Brown video today because they blocked it because of one song, which happens to be at the end. So I'm gonna cut that out and replace it with something else, and then God willing, the James Brown video will be up. You know, I'm gonna call Charles in a few minutes, but I just wanted to make sure that people were up and here. Oh, croissant. Croissant is French. These are decent. They had some that had some chocolate filling in them, and I ate one, but I also have the hot chocolate, so I didn't want to overdo it. But bread and chocolate, it creates its own alchemy. It opens things up in your brain, like not thermos. What when you drink chocolate, what drug goes into your head? I'm a chocoholic. 305-409. Okay. I'll play one more song and then I'll call Charles up. Where did I find it? Come on, don't blow it. Don't blow it. Blew it. I'm on my can't highly recommend. This is my highest recommendation. So I got the Spanish version, but this is literally like $25, $30 on Amazon. This is what the opposite sounds. And somewhere, let me see, they have the famous ebony cover. I don't know if the sound is okay. They have the, somebody saying I need to figure out the mixes, the audio mixes. But in here, they've got all the magazine covers, but they also have the ebony magazine cover without the ebony, like clear, like from the negative, they tracked it down. And Michael Jackson had their mom. You know he left. I'm gonna take a music video just from the one picture, Ed Sullivan. I'm looking for the cover. Is out there with somebody else? You alone, nothing to do. This is famous. I think I put this on my Instagram from that session with the Mickey Mouse shirt. The Mickey Mouse t-shirt or the Dick Gregory t-shirt? I'm not. I have that Black Stars magazine. Fans of Dick Gregory on Teespring. And they added like 3 or 4 new styles. I haven't seen it. I don't know. I didn't even realize they were on the cover at the time. Stevie Wonder cover. Oh, baby, yeah. Always treat me like a fool. Kick me when I'm down. That's your rule. I might put Jackson 5 in Africa on. I don't know if I really want to deal with that whole issue because other people have it on YouTube, but I hear it. It's the classic of it. So they're in one of those split ranch houses, they're kind of like the Brady Bunch, but a bunch of black people, and it's all the same mother, same father. So it makes you wonder. Hey, I get caught up in that old. Oh, and then I'm still excited about. Yeah, I mean, I was fun channel. I was telling Charles, it's great. We finally got enough people watching, paying attention to what we're doing, that we literally pay ourselves just by talking on the phone, you know. So that's what we're gonna do. Hey, there's Monica Lyons. I know Monica Lyons. The Cares One video, Monica. If it's the same Monica, she should help shoot it. I'm assuming. Okay. All right, we stuck there. I don't want to cheat the people that thought we're coming on at 11:45. So, I'll just give you the window for a minute, and then 11:45 will start it up.
Sharing our world, and I want you to know your love takes me higher. My life, you inspire. You make life desire. Two hearts together.
Hey, Charles. Hey, Charles.
What's up, Mike?
Can you hear? Just checking.
Hey, Mike. Give me a second.
Okay, yeah. Take your time.
Give me a sec. I'll be right with you.
All right, come. Spotify.
So glad to be yours. Come and go with me, children. Half a mile from the county fair, now the rain came pouring down. Me and Bully standing there. I'm tough for my stuff. Too tough for Mr. Big Stuff. I listen to the
Hey.
about Mr. Big Stuff.
Hey, Mike.
Check the sound here, making sure everything's on point. How are you doing, Charles Woods?
I'm hanging in there, trying to make it, brother.
Trying to make what?
I told you I had to order these He ordered these stockings for me, but I haven't tried them on yet.
Can everybody hear Charles or
I
no?
go up this week coming. I'm gonna let them show me how to put these on right there.
Right there. Okay. Can everybody hear Charles? Can people hear Charles? Can people hear me? How's the audio? We need to know before we start.
I can hear you well.
Okay, yeah, but can you hear Charles? Charles, say a
can they hear me?
Can you hear Charles or no?
First of all, I just want to. Okay. Hello. Testing 1 2 1 2.
Okay, we can hear you. Yeah, everything's good. Everything's perfect.
They can hear me?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't dominate the conversation this time. I guess I should have had you with me yesterday or the day before when I got into trouble with these Spelman students. It's causing a little bit of a debate among our viewership. Some people say I was right on, and it's toxic masculinity versus toxic femininity or something. I mean, I know I did wrong. I did the wrong. I wasn't polite, but it you know, I mean, as anybody who watches the radio show, they know a lot of what I see as the way I like to do it is just to like introduce ideas and thoughts into people, like so like just by triggering your different synapses in your brain by playing music, kind of puts you into, it activates your mind a little bit, reminds you of things, reminds you of the past, puts you in different avenues of your memory. If I'm like the radio show, a lot of what I would try and do is like to operate really quickly and just sort of like inject almost like brain farts into the conversation just to keep the rhythm. And I think, you know, I mean, clearly this was an audience that was not familiar with me at all. Very few people are. And I guess in my channeling Patrice O'Neill, I got a little sexist, misogynist. So I'm not gonna be Kevin Hart about it. Like 10 years from now, if they're still calling me a sexist, misogynist, I don't think I'm gonna be hosting any Oscars or anything like that. But I apologize sincerely, and I think I wanted Charles to take a look at some of that and just you know, correct me a little bit, give a little of his insight on those kind of circumstances, because you know, the point I ended up, did you watch it at all or no? Did you have a chance to look at it? I know it was a short period of time since we talked.
I try to catch it, but first of all, we were trying to get the sound to see if people could hear me, but before.
Yeah, you got people. Rob O's watching. He said it's me from the 40th.
Yeah, but the first thing I wanted to do is say, first of all, peace and blessings to the Reelblack family, and then I made a note. I said special shout out I want to give to our queen, Miss Taylor Christina, and I wish her all the love.
Yeah, I know
we genuinely care for her.
Going through some ups and downs right now, as we all are.
Yeah, and I want her to know we you know, I check on your uploads, see how you're doing, what's new. I'm excited to see what you're going to put up. But when I read that Taylor Christina was having some issues, I just got upset, and I said I just want her to know we love her and we're thinking about her. So and I see she's there.
Yeah.
We love you. We love you.
Love you, Taylor.
And you stay strong and hang in there. Rob Lowe, he's been hanging in there also. I see his.
All right, go ahead. Keep talking. We'll dedicate a song for Taylor. But go ahead. Keep talking.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, and that's one of the things about the fact that, you know, a lot of people don't know that there are a lot of things you post, and it's uplifting, it's educational for the viewing, but you don't make a dime off it. But the thing is, knowing that you can put some music up, that really excited me because I love music. Some time ago, I had sent Miss Taylor Christina a couple of songs to help, cheer her up. But I just love music, and I love this thing he was doing with Who Did It Better.
Oh yeah,
I got a great kick out of that, and I'm looking forward to that being repeated.
Yeah, I mean the Wi-Fi in this particular hotel has not been very good, and also the weather's been great. As you can see, Sunday is amazing. Like it was rainy, and then it got beautiful. Like I was overdressed. Like I wore this hoodie yesterday, and I was like sweltering. I mean, it's almost like summer weather. I don't know what the weather is right now in New York. How I need to dress. I'm heading back on Wednesday to Philly, but reluctantly, I'm ready to be back in Philly, but reluctantly. So, but very.
You're playing my man there.
Oh, what are we vibing?
Jackie Wilson.
Oh, and Taylor. Yeah, Taylor was the one saying that she kept missing the show. So finally, she's watching live. She said, "I missed it. I needed your energy." So, all right, I'll be quiet for a second. I'll give you the skyline, and I'll let Jackie play a little bit. What are your Jackie Wilson thoughts? I know you probably saw him live. Charles and Soul.
I'm so glad I finally found you. That's that one in a million girls. And now with my loving arms around.
Charles, you got any memories on Jackie?
I can stand up and breathe.
Yeah. We went to the Apollo to see Jackie Wilson.
Wow.
And
I was just teasing.
I met Big Maybell. I don't know if any in the viewing audience remember Big Maybell. I met her. I was a young kid, got her to sign my book. And I saw Jackie Wilson, and I was mesmerized. I was a young kid, and I came home. Like my mother, she went out for this album, Jackie Wilson's Greatest Hit. And I was playing that record every day, almost 24/7. And I thought I was sounding like him. I was trying to do everything like him, but he was called the Mr. Personality. I believe that was his moniker. But he was just fantastic. And one thing about Jackie, at one time, there was talk that Eddie Murphy wanted to play him. And
I can see that because he does "To Be Loved" in Coming to America. He sings "To Be Loved."
And my brother, who was, he had the same manager as Eddie Murphy. He said one day Eddie was doing some Jackie Wilson impersonations, and Barry said he would have nailed it had he done the part.
Now let me see if this has a commercial or not. All right, here you go. For those, we do this. Charles and I do this all the time on the phone. So you're getting a rare treat where like he'll tell me like go to such and such on video number 8, and then I'll play it, and then he'll tell me a story about it. So we can do a little of that. So let me get rid of this Michael Jackson and pull up. So I'll point to this. Hopefully we won't get it blocked. But for those who don't remember or do remember, let me see if I'm lined up. Can people see this? Or?
Someone to kiss, someone to miss. When you're away through here, gone each day. To be loved, to be loved. Wow, what a feeling to be loved. Some wish to be a king or a queen. Some wish for fortune and fame. But to be truly, 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 truly loved is more in all of these things.
And I'll back it up. This is my favorite movie rendition. You see, I played it already.
Well, you know what, Mike?
Hang on, you gotta go for the double play here.
Someone to care, someone to share lonely hours, moments of despair, to be loved, to be loved. Oh, what a feeling.
That's the white boy had to spoil it. Fucking, that's a shame. So Terrence Frank Darby playing Jackie Wilson.
Some wish to be a king or queen. Some wish for fortune and fame. I'm looking for fame. Yes, I am. But to be
That's almost as bad. Let me see if I can find it. Keep talking. It's almost as bad. We just put up the. I talked to Charles about this before. If you talk about white people fucking up some shit, when you want that Motown Returns to Apollo, Luther Vandross and Boy George. I don't know if that was a joke or a trick. Whose idea it was to put Boy George from Culture Club next to Luther Vandross in a singing contest. It was just. I'll find that and we can keep talking. So as we were, what else is on your mind, Charles? I gotta find this video for these people.
Well, I think I got a piece of what you wanted to talk about. This debacle you said you had, or who was this? Willpower invited you to speak before Spelman?
Yeah, we can get into that. Yeah, I'm slightly. See, the thing, it's like it's a marathon, so like you can't win every game. So I just take it as an L, and it's content. So it's like they didn't pay me I didn't have to travel to do that, and I felt like there's a lot of valuable information, things that I hadn't even thought about in terms of talking about myself that Will had brought up. So. It's there to be shared, and you get out of what you can. I certainly learned my lesson, I think. But Charles, you can correct me if you see any other flaws, because like it wasn't CNN, but at a certain point, I think Charles and I want to be in a position where we're getting paid real money to go talk at places. And I think what I said to Will was, okay, I see what it is. I gave you Mike D. and you are expecting Michael J. Dennis. So I gotta figure out ways to consolidate sort of I'm the on this, along with just the playful nature that I feel like I need to develop more, especially if I'm trying to be writing these comedy movies. So
well, let me throw something at you, brother Mike. You ready for this?
What is it gonna hit my head? Is it like a watermelon, a baseball? What are you doing?
Well, did you tell the people that you're a comedian or you love comedy?
The whole thing, the whole conversation. The guy, he said, "Hey, what got you into making films?" I said, "Well, I used to collect comedy records. I guess, I was too shy to be a stand-up, but I always wanted to do comedy. So the lens was my filter. It gave me a way to be in that world, but not be in front of the camera or whatever. So then." But I mean, I don't, I'm not gonna like go in slow mo.
So I got this for you.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
You did an upload recently,
mm-hmm.
and you had, I think, a lady complain. She said, "I hope that wasn't intentional." Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the way I was holding my hands or something?
No, when you got up, you exposed your behind.
Oh, I didn't realize that. But I mean,
So
my pants never fit.
I just want to say one thing to you, my brother.
What's that?
You can be a comedian, but that's no way to crack us up.
Oh God! All right.
Mentioned 4 separate times. It wasn't funny then, but in retrospect, it's pretty funny.
Instead of hands across the sea, we now present voices across the mic. 2 great artists with one thing in common: talent. Welcome Luther Vandross and Boy George.
This is one of the. This is why you want the Out of the Woods collection. I'm trying to get this right. Hang on. Wait, let me see if I can put it. Let me put it on the sticks. All right, so you guys, you know the setup, right? This is the Motown Returns to the Apollo special. Can you see it okay? It's not perfect, but you can go back and watch it later. All right, this to me is like the funniest shit ever, Charles. I don't know. I mean, whoever out of his ass need to have some white people on the show. We're going to show the Apollo tribute. So let's get the 2 hottest names in show business in 1985: Luther Vandross, Skinny Luther. Fat Luther.
As I walk this land of broken dreams, I have visions of many things. Love's happiness is just an illusion, filled with sadness and confusion.
Who did it better? Now, mind you, Luther's won at the Apollo 50,000 times. And this is Boy George's first time in front of a black audience.
Every day heartache, the world is stronger. I can't stand this pain much longer. What becomes of the broken heart? You have love that's in my body. I know I've got to find some kind of peace of mind. I'll be searching everywhere just to find someone to stay. I'll be looking every day. I know I'm gonna find a way. Nothing's gonna stop me now. I will find a way. So where is the love? Can you tell me where is the love?
So now he's out of it. He's just gone. It's like, forget it for it. He could hang for a verse. And then it was done. Look at this. Oh God, Boy George don't know nothing about runs. I think it's the best fucking TV ever. I'm sorry. I'm so.
I just want to say something. I want to say something to Taylor Christina.
Good.
Yeah, I love puns. I love words. I was thinking about putting my favorite puns, and the title of the book would be "Let Me Punish You."
Oh my God! See, we've created a monster here. Charles sees a little window of opportunity to get all his book ideas done. So, what books you said you wanted to do a short one first? What are you working on right now?
Well, right now I'm working on 2 books, The Tricknology.
That's the magnum opus miniseries.
Yeah, but the other thing that I'm having fun doing is the African American cinema quiz book and fact book.
Okay, so you have some trivia for us today, or no? Like easy trivia.
Well, Okay, let's see who can answer this right quick.
Okay, yeah, we got 27 people in the room. 27 people. First person to type in wins. Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Who was the person who coined the term blaxploitation?
The head of the NAACP when the protest.
Well, I thought you were going to let the viewers try that.
Terrain, no, it goes to the 70s. Not
Terrain. Yes, it's from the 70s.
So I think that's too hard. I think you need things that are more.
You think that's too hard?
That's extremely hard. You really have to research it to know Junius Griffin. Junius Griffin, head of the NAACP. You need something like, if we're talking about Eddie Murphy, let's say Eddie Murphy he's credited with writing 2 screenplays in collaboration with his brother Charlie. Can you name one of them?
Okay.
Can you name one movie that both Eddie and Charlie Murphy have writing credit on?
I'd go with Harlem Nights is one.
Not Charlie, no.
Not with Charlie?
No. But you're close in that time range. Anybody before I spill the beans? Got 30 people. Not Coming to America, no.
He got in trouble. I hope the audience know he got in trouble with Coming to America.
Yeah, Art Buchwald. But I mean, I think Eddie, his brother Charlie, was still in the service when Coming to America came out. Okay.
Now, who did the thing he did with Martin Lawrence?
Life? Ted Demme.
Life, huh?
Ted Demme.
Ted Demme. Even the script?
I'm not sure who wrote the script, but I mean the answer would be either Norbit or Vampire in Brooklyn. Those are the 2 movies that he co-wrote with.
Norbit, yes, Norbit. And I think Vampire also.
He broke up.
I think Norbit also. I think Norbit and Vampire.
Yeah, Norbit and Vampire in Brooklyn. But go ahead.
What tragic thing happened during the making of Vampire in Brooklyn?
Yeah, well, the stunt woman passed away. She died.
Yeah.
Black stunt woman, doubling for Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
She fell. Yeah. She jumped off the roof backwards, but missed the air mattress. There was nobody supervising. That's, well,
you know what happened? The racism in the business. A lot of times they did the black stunt people did not get the same protection that they provided for the white stunt actors.
Essentially, that's what happened. They rushed her. She was new to it. It might have been her first or second job, and they didn't give her the precautions. They said, you have to do this now. I think she may have done it once, and it was okay. And then the second time she did it, she missed the mat and cracked her head open, died on the scene. I don't have the woman's name. You can Google it, but it was a sad thing. It kind of hurt the movie, but things like that happen. I mean, John Landis, certainly the worst example was the Twilight Zone tragedy around that same time, 1982, where the three people got decapitated. But it led to a great joke. We got the punchline. The punchline was like, oh, yeah, so like they used to back in the day, there used to be these morbid things, like literally the day after a tragic event, everybody would have the same joke for whatever reason. Everybody would tell the exact same joke everywhere, and there was no internet or anything. So the day after the Twilight Zone incident, where it was Vic Morrow and 2 young Vietnamese kids, they were decapitated by a helicopter, right? So very next day, mind you, this is like you said too soon. They said, how do you know Vic Morrow had dandruff? Because they found his head and shoulders in the bushes.
That's terrible.
I know, but the day after was hilarious. Yeah. It's very sad. But see, that's how I get in trouble. That's how I get in trouble trying to entertain 28 people.
One last thing that I say that reminds me of. And I could say it was a headline as well. Ike Turner.
Ike Turner.
When he died, when he died, when Ike Turner died, right?
Mm-hmm.
The New York News, they had the headline, Ike beats Tina to death.
I'm sorry. But say it again, Charles.
When Ike Turner died, the Daily News had the headline, Ike beats Tina to death.
All right, well, anyway, I thought it was funny. So that's how I got in trouble.
Hold it. Didn't you say something about this young lady's belly button?
Well, you didn't see the other side. Like, I could see the class, and she walks up, and she's very attractive, and she's dressed to the T. Like, she had her hair tied up, everything perfect, dark skin, chocolate, beautiful young girl. But she had her T-shirt tied in a knot. Like, she reminded me of like Lola Falana. But so it wasn't that I wasn't chose the sexist way of identifying her, and then it was just game over. The whole class was in disarray. But the way I look at it is like, well, look, at least they'll remember my the experience of getting to know me. Those people in the classroom, like if I'm triggering them, like either they're going to want to be in business or they're going to want to put me out of business. But
Mike,
it gave them something to talk about that period. So I'm okay.
You said the wrong thing, Mike. You said the wrong thing, and as a consequence, you lost your willpower.
Okay. Put that one in the book too, right? That willpower. You go write everything down, and then you'll have the book anyway. So let's get caught up on these things. The comments, and then
Kenneth Danzy, he's asking me, did I see Fear of a Negro Planet?
Fear of a Black Planet.
Didn't Kevin Wilmot did something that was Black Planet, wasn't it?
Well, Fear of a Black Planet is the CB4. Fear of a Black Hat is CB4. Fear of a Black Planet is Public Enemy album. I'm not sure exactly what the reference is. And then Confederate States of America is Kevin Wilmot. You know, big ups to Kevin Wilmot.
What was that thing that Wilmot did with the where they went into space, or they were in the plane? Wasn't that
the Negro Operation Planet Negro or something like that? Destination Planet.
Is that
Negro.
which one he's talking about? Is that what Kenneth Danzy's talking about?
Fear of a Negro Planet. I don't know what that is. I mean, what is it? Elaborate? I'll Google it. I'm not familiar either. I think it's making me think of 18 other things, but I don't know Fear of a Negro Planet.
He's saying something that came out on YouTube 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
But I think he's talking about the Wilmot thing.
No. If it's a YouTube video, it could be anything.
Okay. Well, I mean, it could come on to YouTube. Okay.
Let me see. Fear of a Negro Planet. Fear of a Black Planet from 5 years ago. You have to put the link in your comments because I'm not even seeing that. Either you have the title wrong or.
Kenneth Danzy is saying yes, but yes to what?
Oh, Destination Planet Negro?
That's what I think he means. Is it Destination Planet Negro,
the
Kenneth?
trailer. There's a trailer, and then that's Kevin Wilmot's movie. We talked to him about it, but I don't see the whole movie up. I just see the trailer. Yeah, we talked about that in depth with Kevin in one of our Pittsburgh podcasts. So I would say just go back.
Right.
Go back to that. I don't necessarily feel like we should rehash it, but big ups to Kevin Wilmot. You have any?
Yes. And here's what I want to say. I was so happy for Wilmot winning the Oscar. But what really pissed me off, excuse my French, was that Spike Lee just had to hog up everything and didn't give this guy a chance to say anything. I mean, Spike Lee, we see you all the time. We hear about you all the time.
Yeah. Why
did you take that moment from the other people who won the Academy Award with you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I
wrote
a nice thing about it was Spike's birthday the other day, so I had to put some thought into why I love Spike Lee so much, and I said, you know, like I was a little confused. To paraphrase my Instagram post, I said it was a little confusing to me the few days leading up to the Oscars, because it seemed like you were just cooning and buffoonery. You're like running around with fucking gold sneakers and then purple outfits and all this stuff, but then, you know, when I read his Oscar speech and he kind of dedicated the award to his grandmother, it kind of hit a chord for me. But I think that's your criticism in general, Spike, is that a lot of times he falls into the same traps that he accuses others of being in, right? Is that a fair assessment of your?
Oh, I told you. First of all, he's lucky because of his legacy to get that Academy Award. That film, The Black Klansman, did, in my estimation, in my feeling, it did not deserve an Academy Award. That was a mess. Yeah. That was one big mess.
Yeah, we reviewed it. I never got the audio up. I'll take care of it soon.
Yeah, but you know, not to get into the subject now, but I think an interesting conversation is the one over a Green Book winning the Best Picture Award, where a lot of people wanted Spike to get it for Black Klansman.
Yeah.
And to be discussed, I will go into it in more detail. I think there was a lot of player hating going on with the Green Book, and I'm willing to put my analysis on the line and to say that all of the things that people say they felt Green Book was the wrong film to get the Academy Award, and many felt if any film should have gotten it, it should have been Spike's Black Klansman. I'm willing to lay that to rest at a future time.
Yeah.
But I feel vindicated when I did say Green Book was a better picture, and when that film came out, the critics lambasted it. They said it was going to be a financial flop. And I said, if anyone sees the film and they watch it objectively, they will enjoy it and they will see a good movie. And that film has gone on to make $275 million.
Yeah. Well, you know, we actually did the podcast. I found the audio. I have it with me. If I have time today, I will edit it together. I mean, the problem was we had a technical difficulty and the camera died. I couldn't recover the video, and it took me out of wanting to work on it. But I do have it with me. I have 3 more days here in Columbia, so I'll work on getting those reviews up for you, Charles, because I know it just helps advance the conversation, and clearly the comments are helpful across the board. So it'll be very, very interesting to hear what other people have to say. So I asked about us. We haven't, if you read in the description, we both haven't had a chance to see us yet. When we do, we'll have a discussion similar to this.
I made an attempt with my wife to see it yesterday. It was crowded. I'd rather go another day. Maybe there's not as many people, because I like to. Well, now, you know, here's the thing I hate about movies today. First of all, it's too damn expensive. The other thing is, when we were coming up, we could sit and see the thing over and over again. Now they number your seats, and after you see it, they're putting you out of the theater.
Yeah, I mean, the ticket
the good old days of movie watching are gone, my brother.
Yeah, the ticket here surprised me how cheap it was. I think it was well under $10 to get into the movie, and I had some pictures on Instagram of the theater, but the seats were assigned. I caught a early show. It was like 8 people in the theater, but the seats were assigned, and they had the machine. Like one of the reasons why Americans are so fat are the free refills. Like I was at McDonald's yesterday, no free refills, and at the theater the usher literally, I went over to like refill my cup because they had all the different soda machines there, and the usher ran over and stopped. He's like, "No, you can't." And I looked at the signs like, "Oh, only one per customer," and then the cups are like super small. So over time you can see how obesity happens when they say, "Here, here's damn near a quart of fucking corn syrup for you to drink while you're watching a movie." You're going to see a lot of fat people over time. But the movie was really, I don't know if it's affordable to people that live here, but by my dollar, the ticket was probably $6 or something like that, maybe even $4 to see a movie here in Colombia. But I had to learn Spanish, otherwise it's just a waste of my time. There were like 8 times during us I wanted to get up because I didn't understand what was happening, but there's very little dialogue in the whole movie, Charles. So it kind of works internationally.
I don't know if they're still doing the free refills at my theater, because I told my wife this won't last long. But the thing is, I want to get to some of the things that
people are commenting. Go for it.
With this live streaming you're doing.
Yeah, I
feel it's important that we pay attention to what the viewers are chiming in on, because this is their time as much as it's ours.
Yeah, and we're at 52 minutes.
I just want to say one thing, because there's some comment on Spike Lee. I have a challenge for some of the viewers. If they could take a look at Spike's Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing and Black Klansman have similar threads. Watch Do the Right Thing and tell me who was the positive black male in that movie. That's my challenge to the viewers.
Do everything to break in. And, I think a lot of people don't realize that his first step was stand-up comedy. So, but he tends to milk it. But I think anybody in this Me Too era, is, if you feel wrong, then you're wrong. Your reality is your own reality. You can't, and I don't appreciate people bullying him by saying, "Oh, you're a big black man, therefore you should have punched this guy," or whatever. He's got a career to protect, and there's a legal system involved, and there's a great deal of bravery for him to even go and speak out on it. That being said, I mean, generally, I'm just against social media across the board, because I think there are a lot of people that have no right or reason to be involved in the conversation, that because they have that little thumbs up and thumbs down and all that stuff, they feel they have the need to comment on everything. So, I mean, I mean, his claim to fame is that he gets repeat business because he's fun to be on the set. I think as an actor, his best work is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but he tends to play the same part. It's become a little old hat, and it'll be very interesting to see if he's able to extend his range, and maybe we see a different facet of him. But I'm not going to pass judgment on the man just because he felt a certain violation and he spoke up on it. I'm sure there are a lot of people that absorb that kind of shit, and they don't put themselves in line of fire. I mean, isn't that the whole crux of the Me Too movement, is that you have all these people that have over time felt exploited, and now they feel empowered to speak up because there's an opportunity to take some of these folks down. I mean, isn't that the whole name of the game there? Like, this guy violated me, I'm going to speak up. So I wouldn't question his sexuality or slurs. I mean, he's a human being like everybody else, and he's got the right to feel the way he feels, and hopefully the vindication that he's getting, of the money he's getting, of the fact that this guy's out of a job, was enough for him to absorb all the social media shit that he's had to deal with as a result of being Terry Crews.
Okay, Cephas knows best. He wants me to say that again.
Let me listen. Coup de Grace saying nobody said he didn't have the right to speak up, but he's like a hooker screaming rape. Well, wait, if he's at a party with his wife and somebody grabs him by the genitals and he feels offended by it, and then he chooses to say something publicly through social media. Why? I don't see what how you can equate prostitution to that. He felt violated. I mean, even if I think even a prostitute has the right to scream rape if it's a police officer raping them. You know, that's a violation. So here's somebody who's literally in a position to employ another person, and they feel they have the right to grab their genitals in public without any consent. That's insane to me. And for him to speak out just because he's a black man, he's going to get ostracized for it. You know, but you have countless white women that say what they want, and everybody's in their corner. That's hypocritical to me.
What didn't he say something about having been sexually assaulted when he was a youngster?
I'm not familiar. I mean, maybe other people. I mean, that's all I got. I mean, I think he's okay, but I think he just does the same thing over and over again, and he needs to do better in his choices. I mean, he does clean it up from time to time, and you know, it is what it is. I mean, as long as there's some balance to it, it's okay, I think.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. You say he coons it up.
Yeah.
Here's what's distressing, and that's one of the things when you get back that is part of a number of discussions I want to have with some many lessons I want to go over with you. But one of the things is in the media, the entertainment business, especially with cinema, there is still this taboo with the people who control the media. They have this fear of black masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the viewers are chiming in on this
mm-hmm.
because we have some smart viewers. What's happened is too many of our black men, they know for them to be accepted in the media,
mm-hmm.
they have to project a very almost asexual persona.
Right.
And that works for them, and they know it.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame, and that's why it's important when we talk about controlling our image. Here's a question that in my book I told you I was working on, the Cinema Challenge and the Black Film Book. Who was considered the first black man in Hollywood to control his image?
To control his image? Would that be the brothers that had their own film company? Is that what you're thinking of, those guys?
Oh, you're talking about George and Noble Johnson with the Lincoln Motion Picture Company?
That's what I'm guessing. That they own their masters. He acted in the film.
Yeah, but when I address the questions, unless I qualify,
maybe you say Harry Belafonte. He had his own production company.
What did you say?
Harry Belafonte. He had his own production.
Who did you say?
Harry Belafonte.
It was Harry Belafonte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he had his own production company.
I see Cephas Knows Best says Richard Pryor. No, it wasn't Richard Pryor. It's Harry Belafonte.
Yeah. So,
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, controlling your image. I mean, once something is out there, it's for the world to do with, you know. So I think, so I think, me being in the public eye, you being in the public eye, you have no control, like how people perceive you. And certainly there's definitely some sort of homoeroticism going on with Terry Crews and the oil pecs and the Old Spice. I mean, I can't make head nor tails of the Old Spice ads, but clearly having these guys dress up like unicorns with their chests out, it's definitely turning more people, more than just straight guys on. There's probably a lot of gay guys that love Terry Crews, a lot of white women that love Terry Crews. He's playing with that sexual beast persona, being this black man with these big, what is the brute or whatever. He's playing off of that stereotype for sure. but that doesn't give anybody the right to just feel like they have the right to just grab his titty in public. I'd be offended. So and he's in a public place. His wife's there. Why would he want to go to jail at night over some bullshit, or he lose his career over some bullshit? So he just saw the opportunity, I think, to speak up. But Terry, look at TK Kirkland stuff. TK has a very strong insight because he knew him when he started. The guy was very hungry and thirsty to get work. This is working for him. He enjoys that image of himself. I don't think he's any different than even, say, Charlie Murphy in terms of how he's confident in himself enough to play that same role over and over again. He doesn't feel like he needs to change. But I think as people who are fans, we would like to see a little bit more from him. So.
Okay. Jolemite said Melvin Van Peebles. That's a good guess, but
I'll type it in, Harry Belafonte.
Yeah. Who was it, White Chicks or Big Fat, the Big Mama with Martin Lawrence? Who was it with was it Terry Crews in one of those?
I think it was Terry Crews, his first claim to fame.
White Chicks, right?
He beat out Patrice O'Neal playing the dad on Everybody Hates Chris. That was his first break. He was a dad for 5 years on Everybody Hates Chris, and then from there he leveraged it into movies. But he's done well for himself. But it's whatever is working for you when you get into show business, it seems to be that's what they expect from you. And from outside appearances, he seems very comfortable with that thing. But he definitely, you don't necessarily, that was a big risk for him, and I don't necessarily want to take sides on it. For him to even share that, he risked his career and the whole backlash from straight black men who question his choices, in projecting the black masculine image. So, sucks to be him, but I'd take his check any day.
Well, one of the things I was going to look into research. I talk about a gentleman who helps me, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a question Barry and I we had, and with homosexuality being what it is today, where it's more accepted. It's more accepted in society. The thing is, the question of when I was in the service,
mm-hmm.
The servicemen used to be given saltpeter. Are you familiar with that, saltpeter?
Is it put in people's food to lower their sex drive?
So I asked Kevin, okay, what was the reason for that? Was that to keep us from attacking each other? And he said, no. He said, no, that was you get stationed different places and they don't want you to attack the women. Because I said, I raised the question, you have a lot of men, and I was just talking to my wife the other day, but we was talking about the sex drive. But the thing is, you have a number of men who engage in homosexuality in prison. But Big Bubba, he doesn't consider himself a homosexual because he's the one, controlling everything. He's not being done to. He's the doer. He's not the doee.
Mm-hmm.
And so my whole thing is, it comes to us being precise about the terms we use and what it entails, the context of it. And I think that's something people need to really think about, the context and what goes into the different acts and what drives people to commit certain acts. So that's one of the things, these are things that I like to ponder.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, Mike, with me not being well, I find I don't watch TV like I used to. I'm just, one of the things that is relaxing for me and invigorating is just research, studying. And that's something that relates to one of the things you said you wanted to talk about was the upload you just made.
Yeah, it's a luxury. Actually, somebody, I was reading the comments this morning, and on the Dr. Ben video, somebody said, where do you find this stuff? So maybe that's something, like, I mean, I know from my perspective what the answer is. I mean, what got you started into like the Out of the Woods collection? Just like, I mean, I just have an image of you like obsessively recording anything that was Black people on TV. You just found a tape and just taped everything for a long period of time. But what's the background on building up this archive?
Well, the sad part about it is how much I've lost, Mike, and you know that more than anyone else. And still, you know, with everything I've lost, because I just had to respond to one of the viewers who challenged me on my research on the slave rebellion, on the mini lesson. But I told him, you know, I read profusely, I study, and I don't let what my thought of something is drive me to a conclusion. I've learned a long time ago to go through the process and let the process help me come to a conclusion. But to answer your question, I was watching TV one day, and I saw Lorenzo Tucker, Carl Mahone, and Anita Bush, and they were being interviewed, and they were talking about race film. And I said, race films, what the heck is that? Because I knew all about horror movies and Westerns. My first genre of love is Westerns. And I said, I didn't know anything about what black race movies. And I just went out to collect everything I could. I gave up my horror collection. I traded it, and I went out to collect posters and memorabilia on Black cinema. But as far as taping off TV, if I thought something was important, you know, you watch a show and you want to go back to it, and having the ability to record it, that's creating a library for the future. There's so many things coming on now. You know, they make it difficult now. You got to be some kind of a technophile. They make it difficult for you to tape off cable and all of this kind of stuff now. And I think it's a tragedy, because the only thing that helps is YouTube. YouTube is like, if I had YouTube years ago, I don't know how many books I would have out now, because I spent a lot of money accumulating all my research, you know, the 16mm films, the different formats, go from beta, the regular VHS. It just was costly, but I started collecting because someone told me a long time ago when I used to go to the old bookstores to buy books, and I told the guy I wanted to write. He said, if you want to write anything, write history. And the other thing is, if you want to be a writer, you got to know the subject, and you can't write history if you don't know it. So the thing is, having a library, the accessibility to the resources, to the information, that's always been a haven for me.
Which was my main point with the young ladies, was that, and maybe I articulated it as well as I could, but the thought came to me, I was talking to somebody, and I said, you know, it's like the smart people are going to win regardless, right? We're always being outsmarted. Now, when it comes to Black folks, the question is, are they going to stay with the Black? Like, you know, you can be educated and then still sell out a whole bunch of people, which is what we traditionally see with the people that we empower through politics and sports. At a certain point, they're going to do something either that we're disappointed in, or that completely goes against their campaign promise, you know? So I'm not saying, but ultimately, you know, when you're seeing the world divided into the 98% that, and then the 2% and the wealth gap and all these people, not everybody's going to survive this, but I think it behooves people to really have a clear understanding of history, politics, sociology, race, and when the storm comes, you know how to handle it. You know, so I give you so much credit, Charles, for helping to enlighten me and make me more aware of the patterns that exist, and the fact that you've in your collecting, you've shared, you have so much in your archive that is relevant to today. I think it's going to remain relevant because not everybody is on the same page at all times. But I hope that you know, as we start to move forward with the channel and, you know, amplify the number of people that are exposed to the content, that we can affect some change. You know, so I just have to just say that again and again. I appreciate you for your wisdom with that and helping to guide the direction of the channel. So acting white, I know you. I don't even think you remember taping it, but you know, acting white is like a 5-minute video that was on a VHS that Charles lent to me, and I digitized it, put it up about 2-3 days ago, and I think I'd watched it maybe a month before, so some of the things I've been talking about in terms of the crab in the barrel were informed by the fact that I knew I was going to be posting this video. So, but upon viewing it again, you know, 20 years later, or 15 years later, what are your thoughts, Charles? Acting white.
Well, in preparation for this discussion, you know, as I said over and over before, and I'll say it again, we have some very, very smart viewers. And Ben Black made an interesting comment, and I'm quoting him exactly. He says, "This piece ignores histories of structural, institutional, and legal racism."
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was another viewer who said, acting white, you know, why is being educated considered acting white, when if we know our true history, knowledge did not begin with the white man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I think it's important, once again, that we contextualize things. The gist of what Clarence Page is saying is it's the same thing that got Brother Bill Cosby in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you address an ill, it comes back to hurt a number of people who feel they're being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because when Bill Cosby, because he's featured in the piece, when Bill Cosby spoke about what he said, it's almost analgesic that we always blame the white man. And then he's saying we need to take charge of ourselves. We need to look in the mirror and point fingers where they need to be pointed. You could see Jesse Jackson sitting next to him and looking at him like, brother, why you want to go there? This is just going to be accepted or looked at as what we call blaming the victim. And in many ways, it's the conservative response that, you know, they always want to find ways to blame blacks for the condition they're in.
Right.
Okay? And so it's important that, once again, when we contextualize things, we have to learn how to really say things where we qualify what we're saying. yes, racism, white supremacy, the way they structure this society is geared to maintain the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
That's right in the Willie Lynch story.
Right. This is a society. This is a society where there's owners and the rest of us. You know, so
the Willie Lynch letter. One of the key lines in the Willie Lynch letter, Mike, is he's instructing them to be careful, not to let the slaves learn the language. Okay? I don't know if you're aware of it, but they had what was called a Black Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of that? A Black Bible?
They left certain parts out.
Of course. What they left out was the parts that would be considered revolutionary had the Black slave heard those parts. Okay,
well,
and
you weren't even allowed to read. You couldn't. It was against,
no.
It was against the law. Well,
first of all, they didn't want to teach you how to read.
Yeah.
Okay, but for those Blacks who could read and pass that on to their fellow Blacks in a secretive way, well, that came out with Nat Turner's story, what Nate Parker did.
So,
and it's a tragedy that Nate Parker's past caught up with him.
Yeah.
That hurt this film reaching more people and seeing it and not getting the circulation that I think it deserved. I felt it was a strong first effort, but I think Nat Turner's story is instructive.
So you think that's the crux of the whole acting white? Like, for the people that were educated, that knew how to read, suddenly they got labeled, oh, you're acting like the white man because you can read? Or is it, what do you see as the genesis of that whole, that twisted mindset of if you behave a certain way or have certain sense of knowledge or education, that you speak a certain way, that you're going to be divided away from the people that, you know, like the other day I was saying, like, you know, maybe if people got a sense that the crab at the top of the heap was going to, once he got to the top, pull some of the others up, maybe those claws pulling him down wouldn't be pulling him back in. They would be almost seem like helping hands to push that person out of the water, you know. But it doesn't. It seems like a lot of people, once they leave that barrel, they don't come back to save others. And I think that was one of the things I was discussing earlier this week.
Here's the way I see it, Mike,
mm-hmm.
and it goes back to the very fact that I thought that this comment that the viewer made about the omission of the things that really hurt Black empowerment. All of that is structured, it's institutionalized. But
mm-hmm.
the thing is, there's a book I recommend to the Reelblack family. Maybe it's in the library. It's costly, but it's called Beyond Acting White. And this book goes into detail about all of the different things that come into play to keep Blacks in a marginalized position.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that's pointed out in the book is the fact that, you know, here's what's very important to remember. As I told you once before,
mm-hmm.
it's very interesting when you look at history. How long did the Black is Beautiful movement last?
About 5 or 6 years.
It didn't last long, did it?
Say from 68 to maybe 74.
Yes, and the reason why it didn't last long is because when you have a mindset that's Afrocentric, when you have a mindset that says, say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud, when you have a Afrocentric perspective where you're not looking outside of your race for enhancement and personal aggrandizement, when you see yourself as beautiful and educated, and that your people can be the source for that, and when you're celebrating Blackness by how you dress, and your power is about all of what Blackness was supposed to celebrate, that's a danger to the status quo. What's playing?
Oh, you never heard this song? Phil Johnson. I'll start it over.
Yeah, I just thought it was drowning out what I was trying to say.
Hey, listen to us. Is it because I'm Black? Phil Johnson. Trying to give it a sound
brown shades of my skin only add color to my tears. Oh, oh, that splash against my hollow bones that rocks my soul. Oh, 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 oh. Looking back over my false dreams that I once knew, wondering why my dreams never came true. Is it because I'm Black? Somebody tell me, what can I do?
Yeah, so that's one of those. Syl Johnson, he actually put that out on his own record label. So, you know, if they monetize, maybe he'll get a couple of dollars out of that one. But I think he still owns the rights. But anyway, not to interrupt Charles. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, brother.
Yeah. So
I think Taylor Christina, I think she may have been asking for the author. I think it's Erin Horvat, Horvat, I think is the spelling, Beyond Acting Black. Okay, but the point I want to make is it's important that, you know, when they had busing what was supposed to fix the Black educational problem by busing Black kids to white schools. Mm-hmm. It's never white kids to Black schools. That's why.
Well, Halls of
I
Anger.
thought the film.
Oh, you're there.
Halls of Anger was so interesting. But the thing is, we need to. One of the things I was going to say with Beyond Acting Black, they point out the fact that, and this is why I was talking about Black is Beautiful. As I told you, there's a paradigm. Mm-hmm. Integration led to our what? What do I always say about what integration led to?
Disintegration.
It led to our disintegration. I mean, when we had to look to ourselves, rely on ourselves, we were doing great things. Right after slavery, the slave was freed. The slave, they were opening schools. I mean, you look at, study Mary McLeod Bethune, what she did with a little bit of money. But the thing is, we were achieving in great strides, and it scared the white man, the white racist. It scared them.
Well, it's also
there are a lot of things that go on in this society. I give you a thing that scared society, and this is why the conservatives attack PBS and they go after Big Bird. Big Bird in 1969. You know who that was aimed at? primarily?
Young black kids, I'm guessing, yes, sir.
Young black kids, preschoolers, and it was doing a great job, cheaply too. And they saw the result.
Easy reader. You know.
And I just thought about it when it came on. You know, Kermit the Frog used to say, "It ain't what I think it was. Ain't no fun being green."
Uh-huh.
And I said it would be nice to have a Black Crow character. We call him Jimmy. He said, "Kermit, it ain't no fun being green. It's sure a lot of hell being black."
Okay, all right. Well, maybe we'll close on that. Let me see if I can find the Ray Charles. Ray Charles, Kermit. What did I do to become so black and blue? So let's get any last questions, and then we'll knock this one out. We're trying to keep them at an hour.
Yeah. I just first of all, I just want to say, as always, I love our Reelblack family. They're wonderful, and as I say, you know.
Okay, well, take a minute. I'll play this.
Before you put on any music, hold it now.
All right, that's not the best version. Go ahead.
Something. Oh, okay. This is Audre Lorde. She was a feminist, womanist, and she said, "When I dare to be powerful, use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less important whether or not I am afraid." So the thing that came to my mind is that for all those kids who are intimidated by their peers because they want to learn, or they're knocked down because they're called nerds and all that kind of stuff, don't let anyone stop you from realizing your dream. Well, he speaks on this. There is a definitive aim to keep us uneducated because it works. You know, there's a pipeline from the 4th grade to jail. The thing is, do what it takes to improve yourself. Don't let anyone stop you. Find a way. Find a way. That's all I gotta say.
All right, so here's your song. See how Ray did it. Brother Ray.
It's not that easy being green. Having to spend each day the color of the leaves. When I think it could be so much nicer being red, yellow, or gold, or something much more colorful like that. No, it's not that easy being green.
Oh, why'd you have to take us there, Charles? Why'd you have to take us there, Charles?
I can't hear you, Mike.
Why'd you have to take us there?
Take us where?
To the depressing ass Ray Charles. Easy reader.
You know, one of the things I'll never forget is Eleanor Roosevelt. I'm going to paraphrase, but something she said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Man, what's going on in America?
What it really comes down to it, behind those shades.
I think you spoke about this It's the dumbing down of America, and there's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they talk about who gets elected, and they bring up the term low information voters,
mm-hmm.
they want everyone to have little or no information. And we got to be careful with the information out there. We got to test it, because a lot of the information we think is information. You know, my favorite phrase as far as information, I say, make sure it's not information to keep you in formation.
Okay. All right. Information to keep you information. All right. Give me a story on this guy real quick.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that S in the word guys.
Yeah.
You see, whenever you see more than one of something, you add an S to it. That's if there's more than one.
Yeah.
Forget the S if there's just one guy.
Yeah.
Right. You keep watching for that little S. And, madam, thanks for the compliment.
Oh, my pleasure. You're not going to make my TV go haywire again, are you?
Oh, no. I promise.
Okay.
So it's Morgan Freeman. Did you happen to meet Morgan? Did you meet? I know you said you saw
Morgan.
him
I met Morgan in the strongest thing he's done before he did the thing with Superman who died, Street Smart.
Oscar nomination, yeah.
He was in Richard Wesley's play, The Mighty Gent. That was such a powerful play, and Morgan Freeman stole the show. And my brother Barry, we saw it. We said, "Man, this guy is dynamic." But once again, what he was able to do on stage and what he did in Street Smart, as I said earlier, those kind of images of black men, they do not persist. They're not allowed to exist in the.
Whoops, hang on. Lost your battery died. Hang on. You still there?
Okay.
Battery died. Let me I don't know if people can still hear. As you were saying, let me see if I can get this right. Go ahead, keep talking.
Black masculinity, black male, the black man. You control a people by controlling the men. And this is not in any way, shape, or form an attempt to dismiss the importance and the power of the black woman, but the strength of our essence. The
thing that's going to make us work as a people is that we have to have strong black men and strong black women unified and working together.
Which is entirely my point. Thank you. All right. I think I can wrap it up. I mean, that's my whole frustration, as an observer is of these hashtag movements, is that they don't stick, that we're on to the next thing when we die up, and that's the conditioning that we're in. So I don't put credence on too much of what people say. Actions speak louder than words, and people are tied into their own belief system, which is geared right now by likes and thumbs up and what social media trends are. It's just another layer of programming. So when I see the Me Too, and then not to say that people aren't validated by speaking up or trying to cleanse themselves, give themselves power by publicly speaking on some things, but also, I am somewhat educated. I remember books like The Scarlet Letter and movies like M, where people can be stigmatized for no reason. The Salem witch trials, the Hollywood 10, all this stuff that when it's put out there a certain way, whether it's true or not, it's manipulating your own attitude. So I like what you said earlier, Charles, about how the way you trust the process to take in information and come to your own conclusions. So I mean, I'm not discounting the work that.
I don't come to my conclusion.
I'll say it again.
I want the process to take me to the right conclusion.
Right.
You see, too often what happens is, this is why I always said, I don't want to say something that sounds good. I want what I say to be good and sound.
Yeah. Good
I
answer.
don't want to go in hunting for research that's going to prove my belief, my perspective.
Right.
I want to have that as a starting point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say Jesus is black and then go to the Bible and only read that which supports the contention I may have that she's black.
Right.
Because first of all, you cannot go to the Bible and prove the color of Jesus.
Hashtag black.
And anyone who has gone to the Bible and come away saying the Bible tells you Jesus is black, that's not sound research.
Yeah.
That's not hermeneutics, and it's not exegesis. That's what we call selective bias.
Right, and it's tantamount to what the
and I don't want to be guilty of that. And I feel too many people are guilty of that.
Right. And I had a friend correct me. I said, everybody's got dirt in their closet, right? So I'm also cautious of the fact that anybody can lose their job over a tweet. I mean, Morgan Freeman, he got very defensive. He shut him down quick. He's like, look, I've been working 70 years in this business. I'm not letting my career be shut down because of somebody's gossip and throw me into a hashtag movement. And he rightfully disappeared. He hasn't addressed it any further. But when he woke up that morning, there was a real fear that everything that he worked for, his whole legacy, was about to be ruined because he was being put in the same paragraphs and sentences as Harvey Weinstein and Brett Ratner and Kevin Spacey. And I think there's levels and degrees to it, and we can't make ourselves judge, jury, and executioner on social media. We have to think smarter and just be more intelligent when it comes to what we're being fed or what's being the distraction of the day. So I mean, I think Charles and I, we made a pact a long time ago, but I mean, we were doing this long before YouTube, correct? Like if YouTube is just a facilitator, but we would be doing this anyway. Like the fact that we have technology we can share in on this conversation is just not unlike any of countless conversations we've had offline, right?
Well, I told you that the conversations we have is like a Barry and I. And here's what happens when you talk to intelligent people who are well read. You get a test of what you think.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if you one quick analogy is what they say that the man with one eye is the king in the valley of the blind.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say something around people who are PhDs, and I'll say something and they'll look at me quizzically.
Mm-hmm.
And it only tells me one thing.
What's that, Charles?
I don't care how many degrees you get. No one knows everything.
Exactly. And we all have different gifts.
You see?
So we have to work.
Like Benjamin Franklin said, we're all born ignorant, but you have to work hard to be stupid.
We have to work from our strengths to become stronger. So,
I just, like I say, thank you for the opportunity to speak to intelligent people, our Reelblack family. I've said enough. I've talked too much. I love them. They've always been respectful of me, and I appreciate that. And I just want to say, when I say peace and love, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell Christina she went researching that book already. That's the kind of viewers we have. They're thirsting for knowledge. Right quick, you can get 1 million views if you talk about who is it? LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
And I love LeBron James, but he looked like an old man. He reminded me of Willie Mays. And Willie Mays was too old to be playing the game. I remember Willie Mays was running after a ball and he tripped on his own feet.
Mm-hmm.
The other night, LeBron James, once again, I mean, it was embarrassing what happened to him when he played the Knicks recently, but against the Nets, he's going to try to score a point. He slips on the floor. I feel bad for the boy. But the thing is, you see 1 million views for nonsense. And our viewers, they're looking for real knowledge. That's why they love Baba Dick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're asking us to speak to other people to get there.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I said, Mike, I wanted to add to the list Stanley Crouch. I want to speak to him. I met him one day and we got into a brief discussion. But the great minds or people who think and not necessarily say what people want them to say.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like point and counterpoint because debate is what's important, not argument, debate.
Yeah.
And you can only get a good debate when you have an opponent who's up on his game. And that means you have to be up on your game.
Right.
And that's what our viewers want.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let everybody go. With that being said, I mean, you watched the Muhammad Ali. That was really good, right? I thought that was really special. The Muhammad Ali video from '72 that was up this week.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. So
but it's this is the stuff. This is why they love the channel. They're looking for this stuff.
Yeah,
and I mean, just look. I just threw out a word: hermeneutics.
Yeah.
And Taylor-made. Oh, brother Taylor-made. You know I love him. That boy is
Detroit.
That boy. I mean, he must be a PhD. He's up on everything. He said touches on Walter mostly touches on hermeneutics in his latest book, John Wayne. And you always tell me how erudite Taylor-made is. But this is what I'm talking about, Mike.
Okay, so I mean, knowledge. I'm glad we hooked it up finally to get you connected. In the live stream. This is nice. This is a portable setup. It's a lot more simpler than when I do it from home. I mean, not much different, but we have a mixing board and different things. I'm able to record differently. But it seems like it worked out pretty good. So another feather in the cap for Columbia. If I wish I could stay here forever, but I have to be back in Philly Thursday. My mother has a doctor's appointment.
Mike, I will feel good until you're back home, brother. Get home safe.
Yeah, I spent too much money. I've been in every sand trap. I think I've played more than 18 holes, no pun intended, here in Columbia, and it's just time to get back and get to work so that we can really dig deep.
Can I do one thing right quick, Mike?
Yeah.
Mike, can I do one thing right quick?
Can you count it off? What are you saying?
Can I do one thing quick?
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Damn, nigga.
Okay. Taylor-made, you still there? Let me know. Taylor-made media. You still there?
He's there.
Mike.
Yeah, he's there. Tell him else. He's still there. He just commented. And Monica is a different Monica than I know.
Yeah, Mike. You ready? Mike, you ready?
Go.
You ready, Mike? You there?
I'm here.
What was George Washington? What year did he become president?
1786.
What year did you say?
I'm guessing 1786.
Okay.
Well,
Here's
am I
the
close?
sentence.
Am I close?
Okay, let's see. Here's the sentence for all the viewers and people. Right, George Washington on one line, right, becomes our on the next line, and president on the last line. So you got 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
The first line is George Washington. The second line is becomes our, and the last line is president.
Okay, hang on. I got a piece of paper.
Now
Slow down. Let me write it down.
Okay.
All right, so George Washington on one
becomes
line.
our, second line.
Wait, Washington on one line. Okay, so
George Washington, the first line.
Well, hang on. George Washington, the first line, becomes our
second line.
Our, okay. And the president, the third line?
And the last line is president.
Okay, let me just give the visual here. Okay, everybody see that? Go ahead.
Now count the letters in each line.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Did I get that right? 16?
Nope.
Right.
Nope, that's not right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's a space. If you're trying for 17, then you got to count the space.
George Washington. Oh, I'm sorry.
If you count the space, you got 17.
Washington becomes is the first line.
Oh, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so that's 17.
Okay. Washington becomes. The second
17.
line is our first.
Our first, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 17, 8.
And the last is president.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9. So I was off by 3. I think I would have passed the SAT.
And Sonny Smith had the answer a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I would have had it. I was off by 3. If you said you're off by 3, I would have.
That's a street smart that's in my book for the kids. But peace and blessings to the Reelblack family. Love you.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. And it's still daytime here. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Charles, thank you. Love you so much. And I don't have a song for you.
Thank you for all the love. And
okay, I'll give you a song here. You ready, Charles? This is an Oscar-winning.
Yeah.
This is an Oscar-winning song, Charles. Are you ready? You know what I'm gonna play?
The pimp. It's hard out there to be a pimp.
All right, so they won't let me play it. They won't let me play it. All right, here we go. At some point. Oh, here we go. All right, Charles. Thank you. Peace.
Things in the street, gotta complain, not like take it for real. The same people live in poverty with no meal. This is why I live, but that's just how it is. It might be new to